Yesterday I talked about a new generation of smartphone from Sony, and it was the Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV. If someone has not seen the video, then you can find the link below in the description. Today I want to talk about the main differences between the Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV and the previous generation. Should you upgrade if you have the Xperia 10 Mark III, or which should you choose if you are deciding between the old device and new device? The Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV is very similar in its appearance to the Xperia 10 Mark III. In fact, it would make an excellent and very hard game to spot the difference. Both feature more rounded corners and edges than the premium Xperia 1, and they both come with a L-shaped vertical rear camera housing in the top left corner. There are bezels at the top and bottom of the displays, and a physical fingerprint sensor is present on the right edge. Color options are different between the two models. There's also an extra color for the Xperia 10 Mark IV, and the Xperia 10 Mark IV shaves off a millimeter from the width and height, reducing the bezels around the display slightly compared to the Xperia 10 Mark III. The new model drops the weight by 5 grams too, and it offers IP65 and IP68 water and dust resistance, instead of IPX5 and IPX8. On the whole, you're not going to see a huge difference if you're upgrading from the Xperia 10 Mark III to the 2022 model in terms of appearance. It will be familiar. Equally, if you're choosing between the two models, you don't gain huge amounts opting for the newer model, though you will get the fresher colors and the slightly reduced bezels, along with the lighter appearance. The Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV and the Sony Xperia 10 Mark III both have a 6-inch OLED display, and they both have a full HD Plus resolution at 2520 by 1080. The two models also offer a standard 60Hz refresh rate, which was the norm in smartphones until 90, and 120Hz displays became a thing a couple of years ago, and they both have the 21:9 aspect ratio that all Sony Xperia phones have offered since 2019. Where you'll find differences between the Xperia 10 Mark IV and the Xperia 10 Mark III is the brightness of the display. The latest model is set to be 1.5x brighter than the 2021 model, which should make for more vibrancy and a better viewing experience overall. As you would expect, the Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV offers improvements in hardware compared to its predecessor. The Snapdragon 695 5G platform is at the core of the Xperia 10 Mark IV, which should not only offer a performance boost compared to the Snapdragon 690G platform in the Xperia 10 Mark III, but it also brings 5G connectivity. Both devices feature 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, though, and they both have microSD support for storage expansion. In terms of audio, the Xperia 10 Mark IV and the Xperia 10 Mark III both have a 3.5mm audio jack, and they both support features like high-res audio and DSC Ultimate. The Xperia 10 Mark IV also has Sony's 360 reality audio though, along with a feature called 360 reality audio upmix, so there are some additional features on the sound front with the new model. The battery capacity is also slightly larger on the Xperia 10 Mark IV, with a 5000 mAh under the hood, up from the 4500 mAh in the Xperia 10 Mark III. This should deliver a decent boost in terms of daily use, though the brighter display, 5G and extra camera features may eat some of that up. Neither the Xperia 10 Mark IV or the Xperia 10 Mark III offer wireless charging like the Xperia 1 Mark IV and Xperia 5 Mark III. The Xperia 10 Mark IV also doesn't come with the charger or the charging cable in the box, so that's worth noting. The Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV and the Xperia 10 Mark III feature the same camera sensors within their triple lens systems, though the 2022 device has some additional features. Both have a 12-megapixel main sensor, 8-megapixel telephoto sensor and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle sensor. There's no periscope lens, and no TOF sensor like you'll find on the Xperia 1 Mark IV. The main difference between the Xperia 10 Mark IV and the Xperia 10 Mark III is the Xperia 10 Mark IV offers optical image stabilization. It is also set to offer improvements to low-light shooting and noise reduction when shooting in night mode. There's also super resolution zoom on board the Xperia 10 Mark IV and extended dynamic range for video. Additionally, while both the Xperia 10 Mark IV and the Xperia 10 Mark III have an 8-megapixel front camera, the latest model will offer crisper selfies. The biggest reasons to buy the Xperia 10 Mark IV over the Xperia 10 Mark III, or to upgrade, are the processor and battery bumps, and the optical image stabilization on the camera system. While some camera features won't be used by everyone, optical image stabilization should make a solid difference in terms of results, compared to the older model. You'll get faster connection speeds and in a slimmer and lighter build, with a brighter display too, so there's not a great deal to complain about here. You'll likely save money opting for the older model if you're choosing between these devices, but the Xperia 10 Mark IV has some features worth spending the extra for, including 5G and optical image stabilization, and these features also make it a worthy upgrade too. Do you think the new generation of the Xperia 10 Mark IV is worth your attention? Write your opinion in the comments below. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, and see you soon.